Today we're looking at the top 10 RC crawlers for under $150. Now these are all RCs that I've used and reviewed on the channel. If you want to check out more detailed reviews for each one, check out my reviews playlist. I will also put links to the videos in the video description. So coming in at number 10 and the cheapest model on our list, we have the MN82 from MN Models. You can pick these up starting from as little as $30 on either places like AliExpress or Banggood. Now the entry-level MN82 is a fully licensed Toyota LC79 pickup. It's actually a really nice hard body. It's got some nice scale details on it. Electronics-wise for this one, you've actually got a 280 sized brush motor, a fairly basic transmitter, but it does allow you to do a switchable 2-speed, which is basically just two different dual rates for like a low speed and a high speed. Now chassis wise, they're pretty basic as you'd expect. You've got plastic axles and they are straight axles on the front and the rear. You do have these, well, they're not even really friction shocks on the front. They're just like shocks and springs. You know, they're not the best. On the rear, you've actually got leaf springs and then you've actually got friction shocks on the rear. Then for your wheels and tires, you've got plastic wheels. They're not bead locks. The tires, they're okay. They're nothing special. Now, if you want to spend a little bit more money, you can also get the MN82S. This one is basically a super tourer. Electronics and chassis wise, it's pretty much the same. The main difference is you've got that kind of overland rear. Now for the price, you know, they've got pretty decent slow speed control. You've got a nice bit of wheel speed. You know, it is a really nice entry model and there's loads of upgrades you can get for them. You could spend not a lot of money and actually have a nicely upgraded rig. So coming in at number 9, we've got our first mini crawler on the list. This is the Remo Hobby 1893 SL. It's basically a TRX4M clone, and you can pick this up for about $92 on Banggood. And you know, it's not the best, but I thought it was worth a mention because of the features that it comes with and you know, the upgrade potential that it does have. You've got an unlicensed Defender hardbody, which is actually quite nice. You know, it's got some nice details on there. You've got some accessories, you've got clear windows. It actually comes with like retro metal wheels as well, but unfortunately they're not beadlock wheels. The tires that actually come on them as well aren't bad. You know, they're nice and soft. They got foams in them. You know, they're nothing amazing, but you know, for a raid to run, they're not bad. Now, some of the nice things that come with this one for the money is you've actually got a mechanical 2-speed. It actually has portal axles with metal gears. It's got a 180 size brush motor. You've got a 3-in-1 ESC and receiver that also can control your lights as well. The radio is pretty basic that comes with this one, but you know, it's got all your usual features, you know, and it does the job. Now, it does have some downsides as well. You know, there's no oil-filled shocks. They're just friction shocks and they're very bouncy. It's a bit too lifted. And obviously without the oil-filled shocks, you tend to find that the rear just squats all the time and it then just kind of tips back and tips over. Personally, I'm not fussed on how wide the stance is either. The slow speed control wasn't the best, but it does actually come included with a low range gear. So you can change the gearing options just like you would on a stock TRX4M. You know, like I said, this isn't the best out of the box, but it's definitely got upgrade potential. I like the fact that, you know, with the portal axles, they use your standard 7mm hex, so you could just easily swap different wheels and tires on there. You know, I reckon with some different wheels and tires, some oil-filled shocks, and maybe just the low range gears, this thing would actually be really nice. So coming in at number 8, we've got another MN Models. This is the MN168. You can pick these up from as little as $65. Now, what I really like about this one is it actually comes with a fully licensed Range Rover Classic hardbody. These are really nice hardbody. You've got opening doors, opening bonnet. You've got a full interior in there. Now, electronics-wise, these actually come with a 280 sized brush motor. They actually have a separate ESC and receiver, which again makes upgrade options much easier. They come with the usual MN Models, pretty basic transmitter, you know, but it does the job. The portal axles do have metal gears in them, although they are kind of cheap looking metal gears. The main downside for me, chassis-wise and looks, is those wheels. You know, with the portal axles, they've used these massively oversized, like classic Range Rover style wheels, and it just looks a bit silly, to be honest. It kind of spoils the whole look. But I recently did a build series where we actually upgraded the MN168. I swapped to metal MN82 axles, and then I just did some 3D printed wheels, some different tires, and it looked so much better. And to be fair, the performance was absolutely fantastic. You know, especially for how much it cost me to upgrade it. Now you can get loads of upgrade options for these just like you can for the MN82. I fitted the brushless system to mine, which I think cost me $32 or $33 for the brushless ESC outrunner motor and a metal gearbox, which is like crazy value for money. Because it has the standalone ESC and receiver, it means you can just reuse the stock radio gear, so you save yourself money there. I didn't bother changing the oil-filled shocks on mine. I actually found that once I added the drivers in there, it actually worked really nicely. We had some really nice articulation. You know, if you prefer something that's a slightly larger scale to a mini crawler, because, you know, like I mentioned earlier, for when you're looking at spending under $150, you're mainly looking at 18th scale and smaller. But with these MN models being 12 scale, you know, you're getting a bit of a bigger model, you're getting a bit more for your money, and obviously it makes it a bit more capable to take on, you know, larger terrain when you're outside on the trail. You know, I do think these are fantastic value for money, loads of cheap upgrades available. You know, they have a lot of potential and are definitely worth a look. Now coming in at number 7, we've got the FCX24M from FMS. You can pick these up for about $120. Now these are actually 1/24th scale and they're fully licensed Land Rover Camel Trophy versions. So you can actually get a D90, a D110, a classic Range Rover or a Discovery. They got really nice little hard bodies with lots of nice scale details. You've got roof racks with accessories and sand ladders, full interiors as well. They look really, really cool, especially for their size. So they've got some really nice features, especially for the size and the price. So you've got a mechanical 2-speed gearbox that you can control via channel 3 on the really nice Fly Sky 3-channel transmitter. They got little 050 brushed motors, which sounds really small, but they've actually got loads of punch considering their size. You've got an all-in-one ESC and receiver on this one, but they've got fantastic slow speed control and a decent amount of wheel speed with that 2-speed gearbox as well, especially just from that little 050 motor. They actually have metal diff gears and full ball bearings throughout as well, which again, for the price is really good. They also come with oil-filled shocks out of the box, which really adds to that kind of scale realism. And then they come with a little 2S 380 milliamp hour battery. But what's nice about them as well, the battery tray is big enough that you can actually fit the, I think is it 700 milliamp hour battery from the FCX18. So obviously that gives you a nice bit of weight then kind of low down with that bigger battery, but obviously gives you like what, double the runtime from the bigger battery. Now there's plenty of upgrade options available for these from either FMS or from people like Fair RC and Endura. They are fantastic little rigs. I absolutely love them. The classic Range Rover and the Discovery are my favorites. I did a build video not too long ago on the Discovery where we added some like Fair RC upgrades and stuff like that. And generally out of the box, the Range Rover, in my opinion, is the best performer. It's kind of a bit lower. The weight distribution's a bit better. But once we did the upgrades on the little Discovery and added some low down weight and stuff like that, it was fantastic. It was able to basically run the same lines. And again, it was able to take on like the Gatekeeper and stuff like that. So yeah, with a few little mods, you know, they are absolutely fantastic little crawlers. And obviously if you love Land Rover, then it's definitely one to have in your collection. So coming in at number 6, we've got the UCX 2405 Pro from UDIRC. Now you can pick these things up now for like $120 on AliExpress. Now I know not everybody's gonna like these, and obviously with there not being many offerings from UDIRC, you know, upgrade options may be a little bit sparse. But if you consider what you're getting for $120, it's basically got a brushless 1212 3500 kV outrunner motor. It actually has full metal gears, oil-filled shocks, it actually has 4-wheel steering, 2-speed gearbox. The radio that comes with it is actually pretty decent as well. I mean, it's nothing special, but it does the job, and you know, I've seen a lot worse. You know, it's got decent slow speed control, it's got a ridiculous amount of wheel speed in second gear with that brushless system. You know, with that 4-wheel steering, you've got a servo on each axle. You know, you could just do normal steering, you can do crab crawling. You know, again, it's giving you value for money, you know, especially for $120. And although there may not be a lot of aftermarket parts for this RC, you know, it's a mini crawler. You know, you could use different steering servos, you could find drive shafts that work, you could change the whole axle if you wanted to, you could probably change the body style, you know, you could work with it if you really, really want to. But even out of the box, to be honest, it's pretty decent. You know, in my review video, I just changed the wheels and tires to be some Endura wheels and tires, and the performance was so much better. You know, so you could have a pretty decent rig for not a lot of money spent. Now coming in at number 5, we got the C8823 from JJRC. This is a 6x6 Unimog, and you can pick these up from Banggood for like $97. You know, considering the price, I do think you get a decent amount for your money. You know, you've got a nice hard body, you've got a choice of either the flatbed or like the full tray on the rear for like loading it up. Obviously it's a 6x6. It's actually got a mechanical 2-speed gearbox that you can control via the transmitter. It's actually got a 370 size brush motor, 10 amp ESC. Unfortunately, it does have friction shocks, but to be fair, the suspension movement, the articulation and everything on it was pretty decent. And even with the friction shocks, it wasn't too bad. You know, again, for the price and for what it is, I think the slow speed control was pretty decent. You got a decent amount of wheel speed as well with a 2-speed gearbox. It has LED lights on the front and the rear, you've got indicators, you've got brake lights, you've got reverse lights. You've got an interior with a hard body as well and lots of nice scale details. For the price, I was really impressed by this when I reviewed it. You know, I ran it on the rock course and it did a fantastic job. It basically took on like all of the lines without any issues. And again, I was really surprised by how good that slow speed control was with that 370 motor. And again, its climbing ability and everything like that. The radio that comes with it is actually pretty decent as well. You know, nothing special, but it did the job. I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. On the trail, it did absolutely fantastic as well. You know, it was a really nice all-rounder. You know, and it's got loads of upgrade potential as well. I would say just change the wheels and tires, fit some oil-filled shocks, and you would have a fantastic 6x6, you know, for not a lot of money. So coming in at number 4, we got the FCX24 from FMS. Now, these literally come in at 1 cent below our budget. You can pick these up for $149.99. And these are one of my favorite mini crawlers. You've got a choice of body options. You can either get like the Unimog, which is my favorite. You can get a K5, you can get a Power Wagon, you can get the kind of ugly duckling of them, which is the Lima. They actually have really nice hard bodies. They've got fantastic slow speed control from the all-in-one ESC and receiver with that Fly Sky 3-channel radio. They've actually got 2-speed gearboxes. You've got Paul axles with metal gears. As far as I'm aware, they do all now come with oil-filled shocks, so they should have updated them all. They've also got LED lights, most of them just being headlights. Now, with them being hard bodies, you know, they are a little top heavy at the box, but there's so many upgrade options available for them, and just some simple wheels and tires and maybe just some brass outer portal covers on the front. And they are absolutely fantastic on the rocks and on the trail. My little Unimog in green with just some RC all-wheel drive weighted wheels and Endura Swamp Claw tires just eats up mud all day long. It's such a cool rig. You know, in my opinion, for value for money, and if you like a hard body, these are probably one of the best value mini crawlers, especially under $150 that you can buy. So coming in at number 3, we've got the Redcat Ascent 18. So you can pick these up from Redcat starting from $119. They did recently add the Scout 2 to the lineup as well, and that one is $149, so still just creeps in under budget. Now, I do believe they made some updates to the Scout 2. I've never managed to get one, so I haven't reviewed it, but I have reviewed the original Ascent 18. They basically both have Lexan bodies. They've got portal axles and metal gears. They've got metal diffs. They've got oil-filled shocks, a 180 sized brushed motor. They've actually got full ball bearings throughout as well, which is really good. They've got an all-in-one ESC and receiver, and they come with a 3-channel, I believe it was, Fly Sky transmitter. Now, I believe one of the changes they've made to the Scout 2 is they've changed the turns on the motor to give it slightly better slow speed control, because that was kind of one of my complaints with the original Ascent 18. The slow speed control wasn't as good as some of the others, like, you know, the FCX24, the FCX24M and so on. This one seemed like it kind of wanted to run away with itself a little bit. You know, it was still good for the price, you know, $119, but yeah, just not as good as some of the other offerings. And because it didn't have the 2-speed gearbox, obviously you don't have as much wheel speed on the trail, but also then with the gearing, it again impacted that slow speed control in my opinion. Now, there's plenty of upgrade options available for these. You know, they got all your standard 7mm wheel hex and everything like that, so you can swap and change wheels from like Endura, different brands and so on. You can get a load of upgrade parts from Redcat. Also, people like Endura and so on do loads of upgrade options as well. You know, you could change the brushless systems and, you know, all sorts. Whatever you wanted to do, you can pretty much change it. You know, they've definitely got upgrade potential. And as a little rock crawler, they are absolutely fantastic, especially once you chuck a couple of upgrades at them. So coming in at number 2, we got the HPI Venture 18. So these ones just sneak in under budget, $149. Now I know with some of the tariffs in different countries, some of the prices have gone up, but their RRP is meant to be $149. And if you're in the UK, it'd be £149. Now there's 2 different body style options for these. You've got the original fully licensed Toyota Hilux pickup, which is a really nice looking body. Some of the proportions are slightly off, but it is still a nice looking body. And their latest release was an Ultra 4 truck, which is from RTR Vehicles, like Vaughan Gittin Jr. I absolutely love this thing. It looks really, really cool and was absolutely fantastic on the trail. Now, value for money on these, in my opinion, is absolutely fantastic. You've got full metal drivetrain, you've got a 2-speed gearbox, you've got oil-filled shocks, you get a 600 milliamp hour 2S LiPo battery, you've got a 3-in-1 ESC and receiver and light control module. On the Hilux version, you can switch between loads of different light options, which is really, really cool. On the Ultra 4 version, there's less light options, which is a little bit of a shame, but it has still got some LED lights on it. They come with a 180 brushed motor, but they also come with an absolutely fantastic radio. You get a FlySky 6-channel radio. This is the type of radio you get with like 10th scale crawlers like the FCX10 and so on. You're not making use of all 6 channels, but obviously you have them there, and it's just a really nice radio. Now, I was really impressed with both models, you know, out of the box, on the rocks, they were both absolutely fantastic. Even though the Ultra 4 version is meant to be aimed at more of a trail track, I ran it on my rock course and it did amazingly. I think it basically took on all of the lines with ease. You know, they've got a nice bit of low down weight with that kind of LCG style chassis. Stock tires were actually really good as well. They've actually got fantastic slow speed control, plenty of wheel speed on the 2-speed. I mean, the Ultra 4 truck, when I ran it on the trail, was just ripping donuts, just flying around, doing jumps. It was one of the most fun mini crawlers, especially brushed, that I've used recently. It's just such a cool rig. Now, these ones do just have straight axles, not portals, but you can buy portal axles from HPI to upgrade them. There's also loads of upgrade options out there for, you know, brass parts and aluminium parts and stuff like that. You know, for the money, these are some of the best value and best performing mini crawlers you can buy. So coming in at number 1, we got the CR18P Evo V2 from Hobby Plus. You can pick these things up for $129. I mean, I think these are just amazing value for money. So you've got 2 different body style options. You've either got the Convoy, which I believe is based on like an old C10, or you've got the Rock Van, which is my favorite. Now, they're both Lexan bodies. The Rock Van does have like a nice roof rack on there, nice meaty front bumper, and yeah, they both look really cool. Now, they've got full metal gears throughout, they've got a 2-speed gearbox, they've got portal axles, they've got oil-filled shocks, they've got counter-rotating drive shafts, actually really nice tyres out of the box as well. I was really impressed with the performance of the stock tyres. Similar to the HPI Venture 18, you've got like an LCG style chassis that you can tune, so you've got different like mounting holes for the shocks and stuff like that. They've got an all-in-one waterproof ESC and receiver and a really nice 3-channel FlySky radio. I was absolutely blown away with the performance of these straight out of the box, especially for the Rock Van. You know, with that Rock Van body, I really expected it to struggle on the rocks and struggle on the trail, but it just blew me away how well it performed. You know, the Convoy did perform slightly better because obviously it's got a lower center of gravity, but the Rock Van just did amazingly, and it just looks so cool, especially in blue. With the 2-speed gearbox and the all-in-one electronics, it's got really nice slow speed control. You got plenty of wheel speed, obviously, with that 2-speed gearbox. For $129, you know, considering what you are getting, it's just amazing value for money, and the fact that they actually perform as well, you know, yeah, definitely deserves to be on the number 1 spot in my opinion. You know, the CR18P platform has been around for a while now. There are plenty of upgrade options out there, either from Hobby Plus or from people like Endure and so on. You know, you could do brass portal covers, you could swap to like complete aluminium axles if you really wanted to, you know, loads of different shock options, motor options and stuff. Yeah, you know, lots of tuning potential, but even out of the box, to be honest, absolutely fantastic. Now, if you are happy to spend a bit more money, they've got some other fantastic choices. You've got the CR18P Arctos, the 6x6. That one's closer to $200, but that is an absolute machine. And again, amazing value for money. Then you've got their brushless versions like the Juice Up, the Evo V3. Just, yeah, they do some fantastic crawlers and amazing value for money. I would love to see them do a 10th scale crawler. I think that would just be amazing. So that is my top 10 RC crawlers under $150. Let me know what you think of the list in the comments. You know, do you agree, do you disagree? Would you change the sorting order at all? If you've got any suggestions of other RC crawlers under $150, especially if they are bigger than that 18th scale, then let me know, and obviously let everybody else know in the comments. I love to check them out and see what they're like, and then hopefully I can then try them and review them on the channel. I'll put links in the description to all of the reviews if you want to check them out. I'll also put links in the description to where you can buy them from. If you are interested in like the CR18P Evo V2, the #1 slot, I do also have discount code in the description, so you can get like another 10% off the price. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.